The pregnancy test clattered into the sink, 2 pink lines mocking me like a death sentence. "This is impossible," I whispered, gripping the porcelain until my knuckles turned white. "I'm on suppressants." "I haven't." "Minho." Hannah's hand landed on my shoulder, her doctor's voice calm despite the chaos. "The blood work doesn't lie. You're 3 weeks pregnant. With twins." 3 weeks. My mind raced backward to that night. The night I couldn't fully remember. The night everything shattered. I'd gone to the charity gala with Jaewon like the perfect Omega boyfriend I'd always been. 2 years of relationship, and I actually thought he'd propose that evening. Instead, I found him in the garden pavilion with his tongue down Myri's throat, her hands tangled in his hair while camera flashes went off around them. "It's business, Minho," he'd said when I confronted him, not even having the decency to look ashamed. "The Park and Shin families need this alliance. You understand?" I understood perfectly. I was disposable. So I did something I'd never done before. I got drunk. Spectacularly, dangerously drunk at the hotel bar, letting the burn of whiskey drown out the whispers and pitying stares from the gala attendees who'd witnessed my humiliation. That's when he appeared. Even through my alcohol-hazed memory, I remembered the presence of him. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a black suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Dark eyes that seemed to see straight through me, and an alpha scent so intoxicating it made my suppressants feel like tissue paper. Rough night. His voice had been deep, amused. "The worst," I'd slurred. "My boyfriend just traded me for a business deal." "Then he's an idiot." He'd signaled the bartender. "What's your poison?" I remembered laughing. Remembered his hand on my lower back, steadying me when I swayed. Remembered the elevator ride to his penthouse, his lips on my neck, and then, nothing. Complete darkness until I woke up the next morning in tangled silk sheets, my body aching in ways that made it very clear what had happened, covered in bite marks that had faded by the time I stumbled home. He'd been gone. No note. Just a black business card on the nightstand that I'd shoved in my pocket without looking at it. "Minho, are you listening?" Hannah's sharp tone yanked me back to the present. "Someone drugged you. Your tox screen showed traces of Crimson Lotus, a heat inducer that overrides suppressants. It's illegal, expensive, and very deliberate." My blood ran cold. Drugged? But who would? My phone buzzed violently on the counter. News alert, gang war escalates. Choi and Park families clash in deadly confrontation. With shaking hands, I pulled out that business card I'd forgotten about. Black with gold embossed lettering. Choi Taejun import, export, and beneath it, a dragon symbol that I now recognized from every news report about organized crime in Seoul. The Choi family. The Park family's greatest enemy. Oh God. The room tilted. "Hannah, I slept with Choi Taejun. I'm pregnant with the rival gang leader's babies." Hannah's face went pale. "The Choi Taejun? Minho, he's killed people. I know what he is." My voice cracked. "And if Jaewon finds out, or if Taejun finds out, I'm dead. The babies are dead. This is..." I pressed my hands against my still flat stomach. "This is a war trigger." Through my apartment window, I could see the city lights glittering innocently, unaware that I'd just become the most dangerous secret in Seoul's underworld. Hannah grabbed my arms. "You need to disappear. Tonight. I have a cousin in Busan who... Running won't work." My brother Seojin's voice came from my doorway, his beta scent laced with fury. "Jaewon's been calling me. He knows something's wrong with you, Minho. He's coming here." Perfect. My ex-boyfriend, the gang leader, was hunting me down, I was carrying his enemy's children, and someone had orchestrated this whole nightmare. But who? And what? The pieces started clicking together. Myri at the gala, her smile too perfect when she saw me at the bar. The drink that tasted slightly off. The way she'd steered me toward the stranger in black before disappearing. She'd set me up. Created a scandal that would destroy any chance of reconciliation with Jaewon while handing the Choi family a weapon against the Parks. Me, pregnant and compromised. My phone buzzed again. "Unknown number, I know what you're carrying. Meet me or I'll tell both families. You have 48 hours. The walls were closing in. "Minho, what do we do?" Hannah whispered. I stared at that business card, at the dragon that symbolized power, violence, and the father of my unborn children. A man who didn't even remember me. A man who would either protect me or kill me when he learned the truth. 2 options: run and spend my life looking over my shoulder, or walk into the dragon's den and gamble everything on a night neither of us could fully remember. I grabbed my coat, tucking the card into my pocket. I'm going to find Choi Taejun, I said, before everyone else finds me first. I never made it to Choi Taejun. The knock on my door came at 11 p.m., 3 sharp raps that made my heart stop. Through the peephole, I saw the last person I wanted to face. Jaewon. Minho, I know you're in there. His alpha voice carried that commanding edge I used to find attractive. Now it just made my skin crawl. We need to talk. I cracked the door open, keeping the chain locked. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice at the gala. That's what I need to explain. He looked different, disheveled, desperate. His usually perfect hair was mussed, and his expensive cologne couldn't quite mask something else in his scent. Anxiety. The engagement to Myri, it's complicated. But I never stopped. His nostrils flared suddenly, eyes widening. Your scent. It's changed. Panic flooded through me. Hannah had warned this would happen, pregnancy hormones altering my omega scent in ways suppressants couldn't hide. I switched medications. I lied quickly. Look, Jaewon, it's late. Let me in. Please. His hand pressed against the door. I've been an idiot, Minho. I want to fix this. I need to fix this. Before I could respond, the door across the hall exploded inward. 3 men in black tactical gear stormed into the corridor, moving with military precision. The lead one, tall, with a scar across his jaw, grabbed Jaewon and slammed him against the wall while another kicked my door off its hinges. Kang Minho? Scarface asked, though it wasn't really a question. You're coming with us. Like hell he is. Jaewon struggled, but a gun to his ribs froze him. Tell Park Jaewon that Choi Taejun sends his regards, Scarface said, then looked at me with something almost like respect. Mr. Choi requests your presence, sir. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. My mouth went dry. Taejun had found me first. The easy way, I managed, grabbing my jacket with shaking hands. As they escorted me out, Jaewon's furious shout echoed down the hallway. Touch him and I'll burn your entire organization to the ground. The threat felt hollow as they loaded me into a black SUV with tinted windows. The Choi compound was a fortress disguised as a modern estate. High walls, security cameras everywhere, and guards that watched me like I might detonate at any moment. Scarface, who introduced himself as Yoon Daeho, led me through marble corridors to a study that screamed power and wealth. And there, behind a massive desk, sat the man from that night. Choi Taejun. He looked up from his laptop, and I watched recognition flicker across his sharp features before his expression went carefully blank. God, he was even more devastating sober, strong jaw, calculating dark eyes, presence that filled the entire room. Kang Minho. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. I sat, trying to keep my hands from trembling. You've been difficult to track down, he continued, studying me with unnerving intensity. 3 weeks of searching. Care to explain why Park Jaewon was at your apartment? He's my ex-boyfriend, I said carefully. We broke up at the gala. The same night I couldn't finish that sentence. Something dark flashed in Taejun's eyes. I remember you now. The Omega crying at the bar. His voice lowered. I don't make a habit of taking advantage of drunk strangers. That night was unusual for both of us. We were drugged, I blurted out. Someone slipped us Crimson Lotus. His entire demeanor shifted, danger radiating off him in waves. Someone set us up. Yes. I took a shaky breath. And now Jaewon is stalking me. He's obsessive, controlling. I think he knows something happened that night, and he won't let it go. I need protection. It was partly true. Jaewon was dangerous. Just not the most immediate threat to my secret. Taejun leaned back, fingers steepled under his chin. And what exactly can you offer me in exchange for protection, Kang Minho? Information. I met his gaze steadily. I dated Jaiwan for 2 years. I know his habits, his contacts, his weaknesses. I can help you destroy the Park family. The lie tasted bitter on my tongue, but I was betting everything on buying time. Time to figure out how to survive this. Time to hide my pregnancy until I could escape both gangs. Taejun smiled, a predator's smile. Interesting proposal. But understand this. If you're playing me, if you're a spy for Park, I will know. And I will make you regret it. I understand. Daeho, Taejun called, and his second-in-command appeared instantly. Set up Mr. Kang in the East Wing. He's not to leave the compound without escorts. No outside communication unless I approve it. He's under my protection now. Translation. Under his control. I was a prisoner, even if the cage was gilded. As Daeho led me away, I felt Taejun's eyes burning into my back, his alpha instincts already circling something he couldn't quite identify. In my new room, more luxury suite than prison, I locked myself in the bathroom and pressed my hand against my stomach. Just a little longer, I whispered to the twins I couldn't feel yet. I'll figure a way out of this. I promise. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Time's running out, Minho. Tell them the truth or I will. 24 hours left. I looked at my reflection in the mirror, pale, terrified, trapped between two predators with a secret that would get me killed. The question wasn't if the truth would come out anymore. It was what would happen when it did. I lasted 5 days before my body betrayed me. 5 days of pretending to help plan attacks on the Park family while secretly feeding Taejun useless information. 5 days of Daeho shadowing my every move, watching me with suspicious eyes. 5 days of my scent growing sweeter, richer, impossible to ignore. I was in Taejun's office, pointing out fake vulnerabilities in Park territory on a map, when his entire body went rigid. Everyone out. His voice was deadly quiet. Now. Daeho and the other men scattered like prey sensing a predator. The door clicked shut, and suddenly I was alone with an alpha whose instincts had finally cracked the code I'd been desperately hiding. Taejun moved around the desk with frightening speed, backing me against the wall. His hand gripped my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes as he breathed in deeply at my neck. You're pregnant. Not a question. An accusation laced with fury. How long were you planning to hide this from me? I don't know what. Don't lie. He slammed his palm against the wall beside my head, making me flinch. I can smell it. The hormones, the changes. You've been pregnant this entire time. His eyes narrowed dangerously. Is it Park's? Is that why he was at your apartment? Is this whole thing a setups? No. Tears burned my eyes. Jaiwan and I hadn't been intimate in months before the breakup. It's not his. Then whose? But even as he asked, I watched realization dawn across his face. His hand dropped to my still flat stomach, possessive and trembling. The gala. That night. It's mine. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. I just nodded. For a long moment, Taejun said nothing. Then he pulled out his phone. Daeho, bring me a DNA testing kit. Now. The results came back in 3 hours. 3 hours of Taejun pacing like a caged animal while I sat on his couch, watching my life unravel. When Daeho handed him the tablet with the results, I saw something crack in Taejun's carefully controlled expression. Twins. His voice was hoarse. I'm the father of twins. He crossed to me, kneeling so we were eye level. Up close, I could see the exhaustion in his face, the weight of his dangerous world. Tell me everything. No more lies. So I did. The drugging. The setup. My suspicions about Myri. The blackmail messages. The impossible choice between running and staying. By the end, I was crying, all my carefully constructed walls crumbling. I'm sorry, I sobbed. I didn't know what else to do. You're a gang leader. I thought you'd kill you. His thumb brushed away my tears, the gesture surprisingly gentle. I've killed men for far less than lying to me. But you're carrying my children. Something fierce and possessive blazed in his eyes. That changes everything. He stood, pulling out his phone again. Secure the compound. Triple the guards. No one gets in or out without my authorization. And find me everything on Shin Mairi, bank records, communications, associates. I want her life dissected. Within an hour, the Choi compound had transformed into a fortress. Taejun moved me to his private wing, the most secure part of the estate, and assigned guards outside my door around the clock. You don't leave this wing without me, he ordered, his alpha command making my Omega instincts want to submit. You don't contact anyone. You don't make decisions about my children without consulting me. Understand? I'm not your prisoner, I said weakly. No. He stepped closer, his scent enveloping me. You're the mother of my heirs. That makes you the most valuable thing in my world. And I protect what's mine. The investigation into Mairi took 2 days. When Taejun called me to his office, his expression was murderous. She orchestrated everything, he said, showing me recorded phone calls, bank transfers, testimonies from the bartender she'd bribed. She drugged us both, hoping I'd assault you while intoxicated. The plan was to frame me for attacking a Park Omega, escalating the war while destroying Jaiwon's relationship. She gets Jaiwon, and both our families tear each other apart. I felt sick. She used us as weapons. She failed. Taejun's jaw clenched. But now Park knows you're here. He's demanding your return, claiming you're still his Omega. I'm not. The office door burst open. Jaiwon stood there, flanked by his own guards, somehow having breached Taejun's security. His eyes locked on me, then dropped to where Taejun's hand rested protectively on my shoulder. Step away from him, Choi. Make me Park. The two alphas faced off, and I felt the violence crackling in the air like electricity. They were going to kill each other. Over me. Over children Jaiwon didn't even know about. Stop. I stepped between them, hands raised. Both of you, just stop. Minho, come here, Jaiwon commanded, alpha voice full of compulsion. You don't belong with this monster. He's carrying my children, Taejun snarled, and I watched Jaiwon's face go white with shock. He's my bonded mate. Touch him and I'll rip your throat out. We weren't actually bonded, but the claim hung in the air like a declaration of war. Jaiwon's eyes found mine, hurt and betrayal warring in their depths. Minho, tell me he's lying. Before I could answer, pain ripped through my abdomen. Sharp, wrong, terrifying. I gasped, doubling over as wetness spread down my legs. The babies, I whispered, vision blurring. Something's wrong with the babies. I heard Taejun roar my name as darkness swallowed me whole. I woke to the sound of machines beeping and hushed voices arguing. Still unstable. The stress nearly killed them all. That was Hannah's voice, tight with exhaustion. Then you make sure it doesn't. Taejun, commanding even in desperation. I tried to open my eyes, but they felt weighted down. My hand instinctively moved to my stomach, and panic flooded through me when I felt bandages instead of the small swell that had started forming. The babies, I croaked, and suddenly Taejun was beside me, his hand gripping mine. They're alive. His voice cracked. A boy and a girl. 3 weeks premature, but alive. They're in the NICU. Tears streamed down my face. I want to see them. Soon, Hannah said, appearing on my other side. You've been unconscious for 3 days, Minho. Your body went into shock. We almost lost you twice. She glared at Taejun. The confrontation, the stress. You're both lucky I'm a good doctor and that Park Jaiwon called in a specialist. Jaiwon? I blinked in confusion. Taejun's jaw tightened. His family has connections to the best perinatologist in Seoul. I felt for you. The admission clearly cost him. Over the next week, I learned what happened while I'd been fighting for my life. Taejun had never left my side, sleeping in the chair beside my bed, refusing to run his organization from anywhere else. Jaiwon had not only provided the specialist but had worked with Taejun to take down Mairi, exposing her schemes to both families. She was in custody now, facing charges from both the legitimate police and the underworld's harsher justice. Why would Jaiwon help? I asked Taejun as he wheeled me to the NICU for the first time. He said you deserve to be happy, even if it wasn't with him. Taejun's expression was unreadable. He's stepping back from the war, focusing on legitimate business. Said this life nearly killed the person he loved most. Through the NICU window, I saw them, two tiny beings in incubators, fighting to grow stronger. My son had Taejun's dark hair. My daughter had my softer features. They were perfect and terrifying and everything I never knew I needed. I'm dismantling half the organization, Taejun said quietly beside me. Going legitimate. The drug trade, the illegal gambling, I'm out. The children deserve better than a father who might not come home. I stared at him. You're giving up your empire? For our family? He looked at me and I saw past the gang leader to the man underneath. Yes. I'm keeping the legitimate businesses, real estate, shipping, security. But the rest? He shook his head. I won't have my children grow up the way I did. 2 months later, I stood in my art gallery, the one Taejun had purchased and renovated for me, arranging paintings for the grand opening. The twins were home now, healthy and perfect, currently with Hannah at the penthouse Taejun had insisted we share. The door chimed, and Jaewon walked in. We hadn't spoken since the hospital. The sight of him brought back memories, some good, most painful. Beautiful space, he said, hands in his pockets. You always wanted your own gallery. Jaewon. I'm not here to cause trouble. He offered a sad smile. I'm leaving Seoul. Taking over the Park family's operations in Singapore. Fresh start. He paused. I wanted to apologize. For everything. For choosing duty over you. For not protecting you from Myri. For not being the alpha you deserved. You helped save my life, I said softly. That counts for something. Are you happy? His eyes searched mine. Truly. I thought about Taejun, who'd spent the previous night pacing with our colicky son while I fed our daughter. Who'd given up his criminal empire without hesitation. Who looked at me like I was his entire world. Yes, I answered honestly. I am. Then I'm glad. Jaewon moved toward the door, then paused. He's a lucky man, Minho. I hope he knows that. I do. Taejun's voice came from the entrance, our daughter Tae he cradled in his arms, Seojun following with Minjae. And I'll spend every day proving I deserve that luck. Jaewon nodded once to Taejun, not quite respect, but acknowledgement, and left. That evening, on the gallery's rooftop terrace, Taejun knelt before me while our family watched. Seojun, still wary but accepting. Hannah, crying happy tears. Daeho and the others, grinning like fools. Kang Minho, Taejun said, pulling out a simple platinum band. You crashed into my life in the most unexpected way. You gave me a reason to be better. You gave me a family I never knew I wanted. I'm not perfect. I'm still ruthless in business, still dangerous when threatened. But with you, I want to be more. His voice softened. Will you bond with me? Officially, permanently, forever. His scent wrapped around me, cedar and smoke and home. Yes, I whispered, and let him slide the ring on my finger. The bonding ceremony was private, sacred. When Taejun's teeth marked the junction of my neck and shoulder, I felt our souls click into place like they'd always been meant to fit together. 6 months later. I hummed while painting, the afternoon sunlight streaming through the studio windows. The gallery below was thriving, featuring emerging artists I'd discovered. On the floor, Tae and Minjae played on a blanket, babbling to each other in their twin language. Taejun came in from his office, the legitimate businessman now, sharp suit and no blood on his hands, and scooped up both babies, making them squeal with delight. What are you working on? He asked, kissing my temple. I gestured to the canvas, our family, painted in soft colors and warm light. Not perfect but real. Ours. Our story, I said. Where mistakes became miracles. He smiled, the expression transforming his usually stern face. Best mistake I ever made. And watching him with our children, building the life we'd chosen from the chaos, I couldn't agree more. Some mistakes become your greatest blessings.